Hey there, this video is to show you how to use your FM equipment to do simultaneous interpreting. Basically what you're doing is setting up a very small FM radio station in the room where the interpreting is happening. So you have to find a couple of frequencies that are not in use in your area. You could try just listening, find a spot on the FM dial that is just fuzz, or you hear a station that is so remote and fuzzy it probably wouldn't be useful locally, so no one will be annoyed when you overpower it in that small area where you're transmitting. Anyway, I picked a couple of frequencies to try. 87.9 and 90.7 look like they might work. You probably need to find a third frequency any place that you go in case there's unanticipated interference, and be ready to switch to a different frequency. So I'll show you how to set up the receiver first. So I keep each unit in a little plastic bag. It keeps it dry. It also helps handle the headphones because if you just leave the headphones out, you end up with a tangle of headphones. Let's put in the batteries. One of the issues about these devices is that they do go through batteries pretty quickly, and you need to take the batteries out if they're not going to be in use for a few days. Otherwise, the batteries will drain just sitting in there. So there we have, it's on. It shows you that it's about half full of battery power. So now the system is on, and I'm going to change the frequency to our first selected frequency of 87.9. The tuning is on the left and right there. Just tune it down, or up and down is the tuning. There, 87.9. So I'm going to program that into memory. I press the memory button, it blinks, and then I press button number 1. So now anytime I press button number 1, it'll go back to that frequency. Let's go to our second frequency of 90.7. Okay. Once again, I'll press the memory button and then number 2. And so now by pressing button 1 or 2, it just switches back and forth between those two frequencies. The volume is controlled with the left and the right buttons. You can also lock it so it doesn't change anything, but that sometimes is confusing to people. There it did change even though the lock button is on. Hit number 1 and number 2, and then I turn it back off. When you get your transmitter, the first thing to do is to attach the antenna, and it screws in counterclockwise. Never operate this device without the antenna in place. It will damage the electronics of it. And open up the back and pop in the battery with the little tabs lining up. And then you charge the device up with this USB cable, and it goes to the mini USB end that goes in there. You'll need some sort of a charger thing like for your phone, or you can charge it on your computer. This one I've already charged up. So I'm going to select the frequency now, and the way you make all the changes on the device is by pressing this button here, holding it down until you see, oh, well, that's how you turn it off. Turn it back on by holding down the button. And now I'm going to press the button once, and you'll see there's an indicator blinking. That indicates the volume of the output for the microphone. I'm going to touch it again. Now the volume output for the line, which you can leave unchanged. I'm going to collect here. Now this is going to change the frequency. So I want to set this one to 87.9, one of our chosen frequencies. So I just reset it, 87.9, and then once again I go through the rest of the cycle. This setting, what you see blinking in the corner, is how strong of an output it is. So I'm going to lower the output to save battery power. Either 2 or 3 bars is adequate for almost any place that I've gone interpreting. So if you think there might be interference, up to 3 bars. On 2 bars, it will last probably almost all day with the battery power. And then touch it again, and nothing is blinking. It's ready, it's working, it's actually now transmitting. So what you'll do is get the microphone. The microphone goes into the port that is closest to the antenna. And now you're ready to transmit on that frequency. If you were wanting to play music or something coming from the computer, you could use this cable that comes in the bag. It's a auxiliary cable, stereo, and it would go in here, and then this would go in like a headphone port. So if you wanted to play a recording for people to listen to on their FM radios, you could do it with that. But generally speaking, with the microphone, we always use this port. So then once all your listeners have their FM receiver tuned to the right frequency, they just wear their headphones, and the interpreter just speaks into this microphone. And this is the one that comes with it is a pretty good microphone. It's a stereo microphone. It just holds it close to their mouth the whole time. You may find that sometimes your hand will drift away and then people can't hear you. And so I like these other microphones, which you can acquire pretty cheaply. It stays right close to your mouth. The important thing is it needs to be a 3.5 millimeter plug, and it is a stereo microphone, not a mono microphone. If you have problems with these devices, they're actually pretty dodgy and they fail a lot. So if you're going to be using 2, one for English, one for Spanish, take 3 because one of them might fail. You may notice at some point that you can't hear one of the frequencies. If you go look at the device that you have charging to use later, it may be transmitting on the same frequency. So double check and make sure it's all the way off. You really want to give the interpreters some time to play with this and practice with it so that they know how to troubleshoot it ahead of time, because it can be a real pain to make adjustments or make repairs at the time. But anyway, I hope this system works for you well. Feel free to contact me with any questions you may have.